School buses are one of the most recognizable vehicles on the road. The yellow paint, the flashing lights, the folding stop arm, the high-backed seats. Every visible feature has a story behind it, and most people have a rough sense of why each one exists. But there is one detail that almost nobody ever thinks about, even though it runs the entire length of the bus in plain view every single day. Those thick black strips along the sides. Most people glance at them and move on, filing them away as some kind of trim or decoration, the sort of detail that probably exists for aesthetic reasons or perhaps no reason at all. They are not decoration. They are not accidental. And the engineering logic behind them is more interesting than the strips themselves would ever suggest. School buses are unlike almost any other vehicle on public roads because their entire design process begins with a single non-negotiable constraint. The passengers are children, and protecting them overrides every other consideration. Before engineers think about fuel efficiency, before they think about driver comfort, before they think about manufacturing cost, they think about what happens when something goes wrong. This philosophy is visible in almost every feature of a school bus. The seats are positioned high and padded heavily on the backs and sides, creating a series of protective compartments that absorb impact energy in a collision without relying on seatbelts. The frame is reinforced beyond what a vehicle of that size would ordinarily require. The body panels are thicker than a typical commercial vehicle. The warning systems are redundant and highly visible. Emergency exits are built into multiple locations. The yellow paint itself exists specifically because research identified it as the color most visible to human peripheral vision in low-light conditions. Every one of these features earned its place by solving a measurable problem. School buses carry almost no unnecessary detail, which makes the black rubber strips along the sides particularly worth examining. If they are there for a reason. To understand what those strips are solving, it helps to think about the working life of a school bus. Unlike a personal vehicle that spends most of its time parked, a school bus is almost always in service. It runs the same routes twice a day, stops dozens of times per trip, navigates tight residential streets, squeezes past parked cars, pulls close to curbs, and spends significant time maneuvering through crowded school parking areas shared with dozens of other large vehicles doing exactly the same thing. Over the course of a single day, a school bus might brush against an overhanging branch, clip a curb, receive a glancing contact from another vehicle in a tight turning situation, or make contact with a shopping trolley, a bicycle, or a bin that has edged into the road. None of these are serious incidents. Most do not even get reported, but each one leaves a small mark on the body of the bus. A minor scrape here, a shallow dent there, a patch of paint worn thin along one side panel. The important detail is that school buses are not replaced frequently. A well-maintained school bus typically remains in active service for 15 to 20 years. Across that kind of service life, the accumulation of small daily impacts becomes a genuine engineering and financial problem. Metal panels dent. Paint chips. Structural components weaken at stress points. Repairs cost money and take buses out of service. Engineers designing a vehicle intended to last 2 decades of daily use have a strong incentive to find ways to absorb that punishment before it reaches the bodywork. The black strips are called rub rails, and their function is precisely what the name suggests. They are designed to be the part of the bus that makes contact with obstacles first, absorbing and distributing the energy of minor impacts before it reaches the metal body panels underneath. A rub rail is not simply a rubber strip glued to the surface. The visible rubber component typically covers or sits alongside a sturdy metal rail that is bolted directly into the structural frame of the bus. When the side of the bus makes contact with a low obstacle, a curb, a post, another vehicle, the rub rail spreads the force of that contact across a wide area rather than allowing it to concentrate on a single point. Concentrated force creates dents. Distributed force does not. The panel behind the rub rail may experience almost no deformation from an impact that would leave a visible dent on an unprotected surface. In the United States, federal school bus construction standards specify that large school buses must have multiple horizontal rub rails positioned at defined heights along both sides of the vehicle. This requirement exists not just for surface protection but because the rails contribute to the structural rigidity of the body itself. By connecting and reinforcing the side panels at regular intervals, they make the entire side of the bus more resistant to deformation during certain impact scenarios. They are simultaneously a protective barrier and a structural component. The black color requires almost no explanation once you consider what the rails are doing. Rubber is naturally dark. Black surfaces hide road grime, scuffs, and contact marks far more effectively than any painted surface would. Since the rub rail is specifically the part of the bus designed to make contact with things, keeping it a color that conceals where is straightforwardly practical. Painting it yellow would mean repainting it constantly, and applying paint to flexible rubber creates a surface that cracks and peels under exactly the kind of stress the rail is designed to absorb. The result is a feature that costs relatively little, requires almost no maintenance, extends the working life of the vehicle, reduces repair costs across fleets that can number in the thousands, and contributes to the structural integrity of a vehicle carrying children. All while being so visually unremarkable that almost nobody ever thinks to ask what it is. The best engineering solutions very often look exactly like that. Ordinary, obvious, and invisible until someone points them out.